I thought it would be appropriate to return to our flow-based life discussions as we've been discussing the first-class journey to the destination over the last few weeks. I consider flow-based life to be the same difference as the first-class journey to the destination. Now, we discussed in Sunday's video contemplating the I to manifest all who relate to the I, which is another way of saying manifest ideal relationships, however you define ideal relationships to be. Today we're discussing contemplating the I to manifest the I as a flow-based life in relation to creative expression. So now by I, to be clear, I'm referring to your true self, the eternal fact that you are aware, from which what you consciously imagine plays out automatically by the animating power of awareness. This I transcends all that appears in mind and all that results from the mental phenomena in mind. So knowing this, thus, what is the true nature of this I, alongside the fact of already being existence itself? Well, upon contemplation of the I, you reveal it and understand it as unconditional love, happiness, bliss, and fulfillment, which also have been my understandings upon contemplation of this I, which has also been articulated to me by all that I have spoken with who contemplate the I, and also in the various scriptures of the world, we find these contemplations. And although contemplations of the true nature of I have been shared by the ancients and others who have realized the I, who other than best to contemplate and actualize the I other than yourself, as inscribed above the entrance to the temple of Apollo at Delphi? Know thyself. Now, the truly unconditional loving nature of the I, and by I, again, I'm not referring to the personal identity or self-image. If the I is truly unconditional, what conditions need to be placed upon it? Conditions are thus only what we refer to as self-imposed conditions. Thus, being truly beyond conditions, you are unconditional, by which you are actually free to experience unconditional happiness, bliss, love, and fulfillment during your creative expressions. So thus, there's no real need to seek externally for what you already are. You accept that you are already that which you seek, and allow love, bliss, happiness to be experienced in and as your creative expressions, as you already are them, allowing them to appear ideally automatically. In fact, your true nature is also unconditionally allowing. Notice this. The world may appear to move. The body may appear to move. You may imagine your body to move. You may imagine the world to move. Yet what remains unmoved is you, the I. You are allowing these things to appear, yet you truly remain unmoved by appearances. So what we can call yesterday, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, are constructs of mind for experience. Yet the I is ageless and timeless. You thus truly transcend time and space as the formless observer of it all. So now, what practical application for experiencing love, happiness, bliss, and fulfillment is there through acknowledging you are truly formless, unconditionally loving, fulfilled, blissful, and happiness itself? Well, here are three. Mind purification, which results in further understanding of true purpose to actualize self through creative expression such as art, entrepreneurship, relationships, hobbies, service to others, etc. These are expressions of love, happiness, fulfillment, a first-class flow-based life in harmonious relationship with life and the outer aspects of life. We can call this living the philosophy. That is the practical application. Now, a few weeks ago, we discussed unconditional personal magnetism. We discussed how unconditional personal magnetism plays out automatically as visible experiences of personal magnetism in relationship with others. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link in the description to it. Unconditional personal magnetism is the result of contemplating the I and abiding in and from the true nature of the I. Today we run through the flow sequence as outlined by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi's book, Flow, to articulate the same we discussed with authentic, unconditional personal magnetism. In context here, we apply it to creative expression. You can say this is how we get high on life, through creative expression. So now the way to actualize your desired vision through creative expression, as we discussed in Sunday's video, is to order your inner conversation from the premise of fulfilled desire and operate from that state, through which automatically results in hunches, inspirations, and related visions flashing upon the mind's eye, ideal inner voice, and honoring intuition beyond mental chatter. Like what Steve Jobs mentioned in his commencement speech regarding listening to your inner voice rather than allowing it to be drowned out by opinions of mental chatter. All of this happens automatically alongside body moving automatically, ideally, while in your flow. Thus, flow is the way to allow your inner conversation to be automatically ordered, not overthinking, rather soft, intuitive, silent voice as applicable alongside silence and mental clarity during creative expression. Self-imposed stifling, resistance, or restriction of the flow is a result of corresponding beliefs that are allowed to be released identification of during your flow-based creative expression. First, we have clear goals at an abstract and granular level. Now, we all have a vision for some form of creative expression, art, entrepreneurship, etc., whatever it may be for you. And we know the projects that are related to it, perhaps even the first one, which, upon completion, the next one reveals itself in relation to the vision. And also, it can be revealed along the way during the initiative. For example, I realized a number of wonderful entrepreneurial ideas that, when actualized, were highly fruitful. They flashed upon my mind's eye while in flow with a current initiative. For an artist, an idea for a project can show up during the current project. This is what I mean as clear goal at an abstract and granular level. The granular level initiatives reveal themselves automatically by flowing from your vision. This way, you're not just appearing to go through the motions. You are appearing ideally from your vision already realized in imagination. So during the initiative, we have immediate reporting and feedback for calibrating our flow. So good questions to ask during initiative as applicable. Number one, are you operating from the premise of your vision already being fact in imagination? Number two, are you operating from your authentic way of being, which is blissful, happiness, and fulfillment, and to what degree? Higher degrees are realized as mind is purified through remaining committed to your vision. So be aware of how you feel. This reveals everything to know about how you represent life. Then we have harmony between challenge and skill, which we may also refer to this as bringing forth your heaven on earth through your creative expression, or molding this world of ours into the likeness of the kingdom of love, as articulated in our Neville Goddard conversation on Sunday, which I'll link to in the description. And I'm not sure if you saw the conversation I released last week regarding embracing chaos if experienced during creative expression. I'll link in the description to it. A personal example was when I was actualizing my IT business back in the days. The creative expression to apply what we're discussing was facilitating 5 new client opportunities a day, 5 new conversations with the intention of acquiring clients in whatever shape or form. It could be online, offline, where I would initiate conversation either to acquire new clients or if they knew other businesses that could benefit from my services. And so what started off as challenging became blissful. Thus, challenge may be transmuted into bliss, in other words. Even what one might consider as chaos may be also embraced as bliss and thus transmuted into bliss, as discussed in that video just mentioned. For example, think of a dancer who choreographed their performance, and during practice, what may have been varying degrees of challenge was experienced as bliss by embracing the challenge, resulting in a blissful performance delivered to the audience. A first-class journey to the destination. So then one might be committed to their vision, operating from their vision, and an idea shows up and they may not allow themselves to actualize it. This is due to beliefs identified with. Here, mind purification occurs while in flow. The restrictive beliefs are released and genius-level performance is also witnessed. This is always inherent in all of us. The question is, to what degree is it allowed to be realized and actualized? Here we have the opportunity to release identification, if applicable, to allow the ideas to flow automatically into fruition. So in my example, I turned it into an automatic ideal flow habit by chunking it down. Harmony between challenge and skill. So the ultimate goal was business success, which was a specific number goal. How I got there was not a concern, as long as it was something that was authentic to how I saw myself ideally. The true nature of the I. So what showed up for me was reaching out to 5 a day, Monday to Friday. Now, the way I turned chaos into flow and purified my mind from flow-restricting beliefs was through chunking it down. So 5 new contacts a day was chunked down into first things first, reach out to 1, and if that felt challenging, then I chunked it down to writing the email or preparing the text message to send. Now, when we look at it like this, we realize how simple it is actually to transmute the challenge into flow and also purify the mind in the process and experience bliss, happiness, and love during the creative expression. I see every aspect of the entrepreneurial path as a form of creative expression. So now this is where what we discussed earlier comes in. It becomes ideally automatic, which includes automatic mind purification, further realizations of the nature of self, which we can call finding purpose in life for further actualization of self through creative expression in whatever shape or form, in a flow-based way. So while embodying the authentic way of being, the I, which in this regard was experienced during the flow of connecting with others, chaos was embraced, and by this I meant I was operating from beyond the restrictive ways of trying to force myself, rather trusting the unseen power to take care of everything for me. By this, worries, disbelief are released as mind is purified by remaining in the flow. The beliefs of force that distort the trust, identification with beliefs of worry also are released. For example, I would notice I would know what to say and not say during the conversations as I was not identified with the restrictive beliefs, and thus the natural inherent ability was allowed to express. Recall, as mentioned in the beginning, your true self is unconditional, blissful, and happiness naturally in being. So this appeared automatically in the conversations with them. And you and I are no different. I trust you've experienced this before. We are only thus encouraging it further in this conversation. So one of the things I used to do back in the days was listen to a lot of podcasts and watch a lot of videos on entrepreneurship. They would talk about marketing strategy, different ways of reaching out to prospects, different ways of acquiring prospective business leads, ways of facilitating client relationships with leads, and different ways of facilitating ongoing relationships with the clients or ongoing business, referrals, partnerships, etc. Also, they would talk about what they said, how they said it in the different parts of the consultative selling, copywriting, or communications. Also, there were many discussions on increasing conversion on all the different conversion points through effective communication, etc. And I would saturate my mind with all this information. Then what I would notice by being in and operating from the flow of reaching out to others was not only did the information from the content be integrated as applicable, I also did it in my own style in an ideal way. So I might not have necessarily applied it in a way that it was discussed. I found my own way and the business grew. For example, my IT business from referrals. And there were many different nuances that were integrated automatically to facilitate the referrals while in flow. There are infinite ways of facilitating referrals, not just 1 or 2 ways. So this is the power of flow. It allows you to call upon infinite intelligence to take care of everything for you. All the known and unknown ways are considered via the power of your subconscious mind. And the result is something true and authentic to your style as the way you actualize your vision. The same is to be said, for example, when I learned how to snowboard over the last years. I would watch a number of videos on YouTube, and then when I went snowboarding in a flow-based way, I trusted that whatever was applicable that I learned from the videos was going to be called upon as applicable. Now, whenever a person is in their flow, what happens is a number of things. Here we have the brainwave frequencies. A person starts to operate from alpha brainwave, where they feel one with what they are involved with. This is a practical way of embodying the true self, the I, an active form of meditation, and this is also where the mind is purified easily. So again, what we're talking about here is deep integration, physically, emotionally, mentally, from spiritual ideals that occurs automatically while in a state of flow. Not going about our initiatives from a place of stress, force, or boredom. Rather from a state of flow, your natural way of being. Even if one might think that chaos is what they're experiencing, where they think they need to force themselves to creatively express. By chunking it down, for example, and that's just one of the ways, one of the many ways to flow, it proves to themselves that they don't need to creatively express from a place of unnecessary force, and thus chaos is embraced and transmuted into flow. So then the three here are automatic effects that one may notice when they are in creative expression flow. Distractions don't exist in mind during the experience. Fear, doubt, and indecision tapers away and also no longer exists during the initiative. Time distortion and the creative expression and person becomes autotelic. You allow yourself to be one with your creative expression in relation to your vision, whatever your creative expression may be. And you experience your inherent bliss, joy, happiness, and love with it. Living how you truly desire to live. Purifying your mind ideally automatically while also enjoying bliss, happiness, love, and fulfillment during your flow of creative expression. So I also recommend my flow-based series updated this year with all new videos for more practical ways of applying everything we've been discussing for the last 10 years on this channel, consolidated in the series, which I'll link in the description for your benefit. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. Let's go ahead and conclude this with an auto-suggestion to further encourage. You could say, I realize that flow is my natural way of being. Happiness, love, joy, bliss, and fulfillment upon contemplation represent my true nature. My true nature is allowed to be while in my flow, in relation to whatever I do and wherever I am, to represent my true way of being. If you would like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.